Jonathan Kuminga's Golden State Warriors career about to end in the most unexpected way possible? A blockbuster three-team trade that didn't even involve the Warriors might have just opened the door for Utah Jazz to steal away their most enigmatic, young talent, and the implications could reshape both franchises for years to come. The NBA landscape shifted dramatically on Monday when the Miami Heat acquired Norman Powell. The Los Angeles Clippers received John Collins, and the Utah Jazz landed Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, and a 2027 second-round pick in a surprising three-team deal. While Golden State wasn't directly involved, this trade might have created the perfect storm for Jonathan Kuminga to finally find his escape route from the Bay Area. According to Tyler Watts from Blue Man Hoop, this trade has opened up crucial salary cap space for Utah that could make them the dark horse destination for Kuminga via sign-and trade. The timing couldn't be more intriguing, especially considering how Kuminga's restricted free agency has dragged on without resolution, creating mounting tension between player and organization. Watts makes a compelling case for why this scenario makes perfect sense for everyone involved. The Golden State Warriors could lose Jonathan Kuminga to the Utah Jazz after the surprising three-team trade involving John Collins opened up cap space for the team. Bobby Marks noted they'll likely stay over the cap, but the Jazz also have a $26.6 million trade exception. With Kuminga available as the best player on the free agent market, Utah could try to get in the mix and steal the 22-year-old forward. But here's where this story gets really interesting. Watts believes the Warriors shouldn't even try to match Utah's potential offer. His reasoning cuts straight to the heart of what's been wrong with Kuminga's Golden State experience. The Dubs have the right to match any deal, but they shouldn't. The fit just isn't there, and the Warriors can't pay big money for an occasional role player. Kuminga might have an option he never imagined. This potential destination represents everything Kuminga has been seeking but couldn't find in Golden State's championship-focused environment. Utah offers exactly what a developing 22-year-old needs: significant playing time, offensive responsibility, and the patience to work through growing pains without the pressure of immediate championship expectations. The Jazz's current roster construction makes them an ideal landing spot for Kuminga's development. They're a young team in rebuilding mode, which means they can afford to give him the 25 to 30 minutes per game at primary scoring opportunities that he's been craving. Unlike Golden State, where every minute and possession carries championship weight, Utah can let Kuminga make mistakes and learn from them without derailing their season goals. What makes this scenario even more compelling is how it addresses both teams' needs perfectly. The Warriors get to move on from a player who never quite fit their championship timeline, while potentially receiving assets that can help them win now. Utah gets a high-upside young talent who could become a cornerstone piece. As they build toward future contention, the financial mechanics also work beautifully for Utah. That $26.6 million trade exception gives them the flexibility to absorb Kuminga's contract without sending back significant salary, which simplifies negotiations considerably for a Jazz organization that's been patient in their rebuilding process. Adding a 22-year-old with all-star potential represents exactly the kind of calculated risk that could accelerate their timeline. But let's talk about what this would mean. For Kuminga personally, his playoff performance against Minnesota in 2025, where he averaged 20.8 points on 54.3% field goal shooting and 40.1% three-point shooting, proved he can rise to the occasion when given the opportunity. Those numbers weren't flukes. They were a glimpse of what Kuminga could become with consistent minutes and a defined role. The tragic irony of Kuminga's Warriors tenure is that his best basketball has come when the team needed him most, yet he's consistently found himself on the outside looking in during crucial moments. Steve Kerr's reluctance to use him in crunch time during the regular season speaks to a fundamental disconnect between what Kuminga offers and what the Warriors value in high-leverage situations. This disconnect isn't necessarily anyone's fault. It's simply a mismatch of timelines and priorities. The Warriors need players who can contribute immediately to championship runs, while Kuminga needs time and touches to develop into the player everyone believes he can become. Utah offers that development environment in ways that Golden State simply cannot from a basketball development perspective. Playing for Utah could unlock aspects of Kuminga's game that have remained dormant. In Golden State's system, the Jazz's pace and style of play would allow him to showcase his versatility as both a primary and secondary scorer. while their defensive schemes could help him develop into the two-way player that his physical tools suggest he can become. The timing of this potential move also aligns perfectly with both organizations' competitive windows. The Warriors are operating with championship urgency, while Curry and their core veterans remain elite, making it difficult to invest heavily in player development. Utah, meanwhile, is building towards sustained excellence and can afford to be patient with young talent. What's particularly intriguing about this scenario is how it could benefit Kuminga's long-term earning potential. Rather than accepting a reduced role in Golden State, he could establish himself as a primary option in Utah, potentially setting up a massive payday when he hits unrestricted free agency. The financial upside of proving himself as a featured player far outweighs the security of staying in a championship environment where his role remains undefined. The psychological factors can't be ignored either. Kuminga has spent his entire NBA career feeling like he needs to prove himself worthy of consistent minutes and trust. In Utah, he'd immediately become one of their most important players, providing the confidence and security that young players need to reach their potential. For Warriors fans, this potential departure represents both opportunity and risk. While losing Kuminga's upside is painful, it could free up resources and roster flexibility that allows Golden State to pursue more immediate help. The question becomes whether they can extract fair value in return, or if they're forced to let him walk for less than ideal compensation. The broader implications of this move extend beyond just player transactions. It would represent a philosophical victory for player development and patience over win-now mentality. If Kuminga flourishes in Utah after struggling to find his place in Golden State, it reinforces the importance of fit and situation in player development. Utah's front office has shown tremendous patience and strategic thinking throughout their rebuilding process, and adding Kuminga would represent their biggest bet yet on young talent. Their track record with player development suggests they could unlock the consistency that's been missing from his game. The emotional aspect of this potential move shouldn't be underestimated either. Kuminga was drafted by Golden State with hopes of eventually becoming part of the next championship core, but the reality of competing for immediate titles made it impossible to provide the development environment he needed. This trade would represent both organizations admitting that sometimes great players and great teams simply aren't the right fit. As this situation continues to develop, the pressure on both sides continues mounting. The Warriors need to make a decision that maximizes their championship window, while Kuminga needs to find a situation where he can finally prove his worth. As a primary contributor, Utah represents the perfect intersection of these needs. The most compelling aspect of this potential trade is how it could benefit everyone involved. Warriors fans get closure on a frustrating situation, Kuminga gets his opportunity to shine, and Utah adds a potential cornerstone piece to their young core. Sometimes the best trades are the ones that create multiple winners, rather than forcing zero-sum outcomes. Whether this Jazz connection materializes into an actual trade remains to be seen, but the framework is there for a deal that makes sense for all parties. In a league where player development and championship timelines often conflict, this move could represent the perfect solution to an increasingly complex situation. What are your thoughts on Kuminga potentially joining the Jazz? Could Utah be the perfect destination for him to finally reach his potential? Share your opinions in the comments below and smash that like button if you think this trade scenario makes sense for everyone involved.